Hello everyone, this is a walkthrough video for the tracker dashboard templates. These are a group of templates that are created that are similar to each other. So what this tutorial is going to be is to show you how these templates work. So if you have purchased this template, this tutorial is going to show you the template you purchased or another template that is similar. These templates are similar in the sense that they have a tracker tab, they have a dashboard tab, and they have a search tab. So they're built to be very simple for people that want to track things and want to see a summary of what they have tracked. There are three types of these templates. The first one, which is an example of what we're looking at, the focus is tracking money. So you would see things like bill payment tracker, subscription tracker, savings tracker, debt tracker, things like that. The main focus is the amount of money that is being tracked over time. The second category, the numerical focus here is time. Things like billable hours, study hours, PTO hours, anything that involves time being the numerical value that we're tracking, that would be this category. The third and final category would be focusing on anything that is not currency or time. So this would include things like blood pressure log, energy tracker, blood sugar tracker, temperature tracker. Anything that doesn't fit into money or hours would fall into this category. All right, so moving back to the first category, I'm going to show you how it works. The first tab is the tracker tab. All you have to do is put in the value of what you're tracking. It's already organized into columns and drop downs, but you can change things around if you need to. And I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. One quick way to add data, especially if you're going to be adding a lot of data, you don't want to scroll all the way down all the time. We're going to use this built-in filter option. So we're going to click any of the columns, doesn't matter which one. So I'm clicking the date column here. The icon next to it, it's like a funnel icon. We're going to click that. It's a filter icon. And we're going to clear everything, and what we want to select is blank. So once we do this, now we don't have to scroll all the way down. It takes us to the first blank row, which is row 103, and we can go ahead and enter our data. So here to enter a date, you just have to double click, select your date, type in your item, the amount of money, all right, and then select your category. Now, if you want to change the categories here, all you need to do is just click on this edit button. If you have the different categories, you can delete what you don't want. You can add a new category. You can also assign colors to each category by selecting here and selecting the color you want to add. Once you make a change and you click done, it's going to ask you if you want to apply the rule to everything. You want to click apply to all, so it applies it to the entire template. Same thing applies for payments method. To make any changes, click on this edit button and you can make changes here. Same thing for status. It comes pre-filled with the standard drop downs. However, you can change whatever you want. All right, before we move over to the second part of this template, I do want to say that the dashboard is going to focus on pulling data here. So even though you can edit drop downs, change the colors, things like that, but what you want to do is try to maintain the structure of this area and don't delete any of these columns. You can rename them if you want to. So let's say you want provider instead of category. You can go ahead and rename this provider, change drop downs to whatever it is, but don't delete any of these columns because that would mess up the dashboard. That's why this area is shaded and you have this dividing line to tell you that these half really should not be deleted. Everything else here can be deleted and you can change things around. You can add more columns. The best way to add more columns without causing any disruptions is just go to the notes section, right click and add columns to the left. So when you do that, it's not going to affect anything else and it takes on the formatting of the notes section, which is a blank non-formatted column. There are some templates that do have some of these columns in dashboards. If you're going to delete one of them, just name it into something else that you need so that part of the dashboard is not blank. Okay, so the next part is the dashboard. And here is where you would see a summary of most of the data entered into the tracker. And I'll walk you through how it works. The first area is a filter area. This would allow you to filter for dates. So if you want to see your monthly bill payments for a specific date, click on this filter. And we're going to try to filter by condition when it comes to dates because it gives us more options. So select filter by condition and click on this drop down here that says none. Now we're going to scroll all the way down until we see date is. Okay, we have three options for dates and you could use any of these, but this is going to be the one that would be most useful. Click on date if, and here we have the different presets that we can select from. So date is today, tomorrow, the past week, the past month, and the past year. So let's say you want to see all of your bill payments for the past month. You click here and that's it. Don't do anything else here. Just click date is, select the preset for the date range you want, and then click OK. Now everything adjusts in the dashboard, which is why this template is meant to be very simple and very automated because all you're doing is making your entries here. And then once you go here, it's going to pull the information from this tab and all of these filters control everything in this template. All right, so when we look at this chart, it's a little funky. So I'm going to show you how to fix it just in case this happens to you. It has to do with the date sorting. Go back to the tracker and I'm going to remove this filter and show everything. Select all. All right, so now I have everything. So for that chart, it's being controlled by this date column. So we're going to go here and make sure that it's sorted. And then when we go back here, you can see that it shows up properly. So anytime you see the charts being a little wonky, it means that the dates are not sorted. So it's just showing up in the wrong order. Okay, so back to talking about the filters. The next is by category. So if you want to see all of your bills that you have paid by one specific category, so let's say debt, you can clear all of them, select debt, and just click OK. Now it's going to show you all of the debt paid within this date. Okay, so if you want to go back and change it to all of the debt paid for the year or for the week or for the entirety of this template, you can go ahead and change the date here. What's nice about this filter is they can be overlapped with each other. So if you want to see the debts for a date period and for a payment type and status, you can continue to layer these filters and we'll keep narrowing down the information. Everything here adjusts based on these filters. So let's do one more filter. We go to status. If we want to say the debt that has been paid, again, remember for the past month, let's uncheck schedule because we want to see paid and click OK. Now it narrows it down even further. So these filters can allow you to narrow information down to something very specific. But let's say you don't want to filter by category. So let's go back here. Let's say for you, what's important is to filter by provider. Provider is important to you, but it's not part of your dashboard. Not a problem. You can add it. So go back to your dashboard. We're going to double click here in the category. All right. And once we double click, the filter opens up. You see this place that says column. It's referring to the columns in this tab. So when we go here, just going to double click again to open it up. Now you can select this column drop down and change it. So if you don't want category, you want provider, select provider. Now it just resets everything, but you see how provider shows up here now. If we go to the filter and we want to filter by provider, which is what's here, so the different types of debts, Netflix, Capital One, State Farm, that's what's now showing up here. So for let's say we want to see all of them from Capital One, clear Capital One, select that, click OK, and now it's filtering that by Capital One. What's nice about this is that even though this comes in a preset way, you can change things around the way that works for you. These KPI cards would show you total amount paid, average, maximum, and minimum. This cuts across all of the currency related templates. It would always show you these 4 options. This cannot be changed because the preset options for these KPI cards only have counts, max, min, and median. So these are the 4 that works for currency. You cannot change it to anything else. Unfortunately, you're stuck with these options. Okay, so this table here shows you a summary of the most recent entries. It might come to a point in time where you have so many entries here because you can use this for over 1,000 entries. I mean, you can just keep adding more information. And because of the way this template is built, it's meant to be very light, very simple. You can add as many entries as you need because it doesn't work with a lot of formulas that slow the Google Sheets down. So you can go ahead and just keep using it. So let's say you have a ton, but you want to see the most recent entries. That's what this table is for. Okay, it's pretty much pulling the information here, but showing you dates, the item, and the amount. Same with this. If you want to change the values that show up here, let's say, instead of amount, you want here to be provider, double click on the table. We're going to do the same thing. All right, so right here, we're not going to change the dates. Although if you do want something else to show up in the first column, you can do that. But let's say we want to keep the dates. And here we want to change the items that show up in the columns. Here's what you're going to do. So we have item name and amount. That's why we have item name and amount here. Let's say we want to add an additional one. We can add, let's say, status. And now you can see status shows up here. And if we don't want it to show the amount, we can delete the amount. And now we only have date, item, and status. So that's how this would work. What's nice about this too is that you can sort. This is already pre-sorted by dates, showing the most recent up here. But if you want to sort by something else, you go to customize, go to table, and now you can sort by different columns. So you can see here sorting by dates, but you can change it to sort by status, item name, whatever you want, or not sort at all. This makes sense because this table is to show most recent items. It makes sense to keep it as dates, and you can show by ascending or descending. You don't have to touch anything else here. Okay, and then let's say this list is really long for whatever reason. Maybe your filters are capturing everything. The table allows you to move ahead, so it will show up as numbers. So let's see if we can do that here. All right, so now we have a full table, and you can just navigate to page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5. All right, so you don't have to worry about this table being really long because of how it's built. It's built to accommodate as much information as possible. Okay, we kind of already talked about this chart, but I'm going to show you again. This is numerical value, which in this set of templates would be currency, and here would be date. This right now is showing you the individual transactions entered. So if you have 2 transactions entered in one day, it would show you both transactions. If you want to see an aggregate or the sum of transactions that you have entered for the day, so you don't want to see each individual one like this, you can also do that. So you would double click on this chart, all right, and then you want to go to setup. And right here in setup, don't touch anything else. You're just going to go to aggregate. So once you do this, now it's going to show you. So for example, for January 29th, it's going to show you 1657, and that would be a sum of all of the transactions entered for one day. Okay. So if you haven't filtered by date, this might look a little messy. So if we filter by date and we see the entries for the last month, so go to date is, okay, and go to the past month, click OK. Now this doesn't look too bad. But if it's not filtered by date, or let's say you filter by year, it's going to be a lot of information. So let's say you want to see the information for the past year. Okay, click OK. So now we have a lot of information. But you want to see the sum by month. What you would do is just go back to your tracker sheet. All right, we're going to go to dates, select the entire column. So you don't have to scroll to select everything. Just select the column from the top. So it selects the entire column from the top to the bottom. Go to format, go to number. All right. And then you're going to go to custom date and time. So when you go here, you see you have different options. I want to select one that says month and year. If you don't see that option, that's fine. Mine is showing up because I changed this recently. So just select whatever you have showing up. So we have month, day, and year. We only want month and year. That's what we're looking for. To adjust this, delete the comma, delete the dates. And so we have month and year, and it doesn't matter what you select, the full month or the abbreviation. I'll select the abbreviation, but you can select whichever one. Click apply. So now we have month and year. Okay. So what's nice about this is that when we go back to the dashboard, now it shows up by month. So we have the sum of January, okay, and that is 7,000 plus, sum of February, sum of March, and sum of April. So that would be the way to display it. So if you want to view things in aggregate by month, especially because of the dates filter showing a lot of values at the same time. And what's nice about this, actually, to quickly show you before moving on, this doesn't change the date. That information doesn't go away. This is a format, and then it's just hiding the date. So if you want to enter information, you can double click and still enter a date. That information doesn't go away. It's just formatted differently. So if you want to leave it this way because you prefer how the chart looks, summarized by month like this, you can go ahead and do that. And you can enter the correct dates. It's fine. If you need to see the dates in the future, you can go ahead and change the formatting back to the one that has the month and the year. Okay, so that's this chart done. These last charts are summary charts. So we have pies and charts and graphs, things like that here. So we have category, payment method, and status. And that would be these columns right here. Category, payment method, and status. And if you don't want any of these, you do have the flexibility of changing. You just have to go into the settings to change it. So it's not difficult. If you're not used to Google Sheets, don't worry about it. It's very easy. So let's say in this example, again, you don't want category. That's not important to you. You actually want provider. That's fine. Here's how you're going to change it. So we know provider is in column H. So we're going to go to dashboard, double click, and right here, when it opens up, if it opens up somewhere else, just make sure you are in the setup area. Click on select data range. Okay. So here, this data summarizes the amount. Amount is in column D. So if we go back here, column D has the amount and E has the category. So D and E, which shows you a sum of the amount for each category. So let's say you want to see a sum of the amount for provider. Provider is in H. So now you're just going to change E to H. That's all. So D doesn't change because D is sort of like the foundation of this tracker. It's the currency you're tracking. Everything revolves around column D. So you're not changing that. We're going to change column H. So just click here, change it from E to H. Now there's another E right here because it's a range for the entire column. So change this from E to H and click OK. So once you do that, if it doesn't change automatically, just go here. So we do have the right range, H and D, but it's showing up wonky. So here's what you're going to do. Don't freak out. Just make sure you have the right ranges here. Now, just check this box off. That's the first thing. And then remove this data. So to remove this, just click here and remove. So now everything is blank. Now we're going to fill it in from scratch. Click on label and you're going to click on the first one, which is H. Well, not the first column, but the column that you want to show up. So that would be column H. Okay. And then the next one is going to be the amount, which is the column D, which is the amount. So click on that. And now you want to aggregate. So click on this button and now it shows up with the provider. This still says category, but that's just because the header still is pulling information for E2. If you go to E2, it says category. So now we want H2. So go here, change it to H2. And now it says provider. So, and then you can repeat the same steps for any of these charts here. If you find out you want to add new charts, go ahead, make some space. just copy this chart, paste it, change the columns around, and then you can have additional charts. If you're already familiar with Google Sheets, this step should be pretty straightforward. But if you're not, just come back and watch this tutorial. If you have any questions about how to adjust things, feel free to reach out to me. The last tab is the search data. And I built this tab because I feel like sometimes you can get the information here by filtering. So everything can be filtered here. But if you add lots of information because you want to keep track of it, but you really don't want to see it every day, that's what the search data is for. It's a smaller table. So a table chart, and it has two filters. Very simple, date and item name. And you can change it as well. So if you want to filter by something else, you can double click, change it from item name to, let's say, category, and click OK, and now allows you to filter by date and category. So you can change it to whatever else you want to filter by. And then this would allow you to get like a snapshot. So let's just select a date. So the past month, click OK. And we want to only see dates. So clear everything, select dates, OK. And now we can very cleanly see information here. And if you only want to see a few columns, so let's say you want to see just this first 5 columns, double click on the table, go to setup. You can see how it shows everything. You can just delete the ones you don't want to see. All right, so you can treat this search table as a very clean way to just quickly search for something. So now you can see, oh, in April, I had 2 credit card payments for this amount, and you can just see information. And then you can actually print this. So let's say you want to show this to somebody else. Again, it might not make sense for this template, but if you have a different type of template where it matters, so if you're printing out PTO hours or blood sugar readings, because remember, this is a group of templates. So this specific template might not have this use case, but it might be useful if you have a different type of these group of templates. So all you do is click here, and then you can download chart as a PDF. So let's say you are using the PTO tracker and you want to filter out an employee's PTO hours and you wanted to send it to management or to them. You can filter by the employee name, by the date range. Go ahead, click right here, download chart as a PNG or as a PDF, and then you can email it to them. So again, this is just an additional extra that allows you to not really focus on filtering this too much. Just focus on using this for data entry and leave it alone so you don't mess it up. And then here would be if you need to just pull information real quick in a very simple way without it being too overwhelming, you would do that right here. All right, so that's the basis of this. And then if you have purchased the other templates, it's similar, but I'm going to move on and I'll focus on those ones. Okay, so the second type, instead of currency here, we're tracking hours. And then you can see that the structure is identical, okay? Here are the core columns. Here are the extras. And most of these columns would be in the dashboard. Some of these might be, some of them might not. And if they are not, you can add them, but try not to delete these columns. And if you want to change them, you can just change the names and the drop downs, but try not to delete them. If you do delete them, it's fine. You just have to add additional work in order to rebuild it in the dashboard, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, here's the core value that we're tracking here. It's hours, and here it's minutes. If days work best for you, just change the duration to days. So if you're tracking PTO, time off, something like that, it might make more sense to do days. So it doesn't really matter what you do here. There are no formulas in this template really. So if you change the duration to days, it's fine. It doesn't really change anything. All right, you just have to interpret the value when we go to the dashboard based on that. So this is going to be hours. The one thing I should say though, if you change it to days, you have to manually change these labels. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so structure is identical. I already showed you the filters, how they work. Everything works exactly the same. The table works the same. This chart is going to display hours over time. You can do the same thing, double click here, go to setup to aggregate, and then it shows you all these dates. You can go back here, change it to display just month and year so that it shows you the aggregate per month. Okay, or you can leave it like this if you're going to be viewing the data in a short time period. So if you're going to filter by dates and show the past month, then it shows up like this. Actually, this only has one value, so it doesn't show a lot of items here. But if you have a lot of values in the past month, then of course you have a nice chart. So the past year, go back to that, and it displays everything like this. Basically, the only difference here is hours instead of currency. To change this to, let's say, days, just double click here. You see when you double click, it shows up like this. You're just gonna delete this like so, change it to days. Remember, this is just a label, it doesn't change anything else. So you don't have to worry about formulas, converting hours to days, nothing like that. This template works without any formulas at all. So change the labels, just know that the interpretation is days. So now it says it's still hours here, but for to change this to days, then these values would make more sense. So I have total, average, max, and min. Again, these are fixed. The only thing you can change it to is median and count. But aside from that, this is all we have when it comes to these KPI values. Same thing for the search data. It doesn't really change much. It works the same way as the one for currency. All right, moving on to the third category. This is slightly different from the others because the sum of this doesn't make sense. So this would include blood pressure, blood sugar, energy level. So the sum of your blood pressure doesn't make sense because it's a value that you're not tracking the cumulative. You want to know things like the average and maybe the median, depending on what is important to you. Going back to the tracker is the exact same thing. Dates, measurements, here's going to be what we're paying attention to. This is the numerical part of the template, just like we had currency for the first one, duration in hours or days for the second one. This is going to be a different numeric. In this example, it's blood pressure. In other examples, it would be whatever you're using to track, but it has to be numerical. So your energy level may be 1 to 5 or temperature, things like that. All right, so you put them here. These are additional columns. You don't have to use them. You can change it to whatever else you want. Okay, so to the dashboard, everything else works the same. We have the max systolic blood pressure, the average systolic, average diastolic, and the average heart rate. If something else is important to you, so let's say you want to see the max diastolic, that's fine. You can change it too. To do this, just double click this card right here. This is a KPI card. See, we're using the scorecard chart for this. And when you open it up in the setup area, you see how it has right here, column E, and column E is the systolic. Okay, so we know we have the right range selected. So now here are the options we have: average, count, max, median, mean, and sum. That's it. So let's say you want to see the max instead of average, click on max and it shows you the max systolic. All right, it's the same as this. And then you can change this from average to max. So of course this doesn't make sense because we already have the max. So let me undo this. And then let's say we want to see the max diastolic instead of the average. Double click here. The right range is selected. Go from average to max. And now you see the max is 107. And then double click here. Change it from average to max. Again, this is just a label. It doesn't affect any of the numbers. So just make sure that whatever you have here makes sense here with what you're labeling it for. So if you double click, this is the max. It takes max here. If you don't care about the average heart rate, so if you just want to focus on blood pressure, so max systolic, average systolic, max diastolic, average diastolic, just change the column. So the column for diastolic is F. So go back here, double click, setup tab. Now click on this date, select range. So you can see it's G, which is the heart rate. We're going to change it to F. Again, because we want to focus on just the diastolic reading. So change it to F to select the entire column. Click OK. Now we're going to sort of just like clear it out just so it works. Because sometimes if you don't do it in the right order, it doesn't work. Okay, so just uncheck this box, remove this, okay, and then now just add it again. So to add it back, click here, add the blood pressure, okay, and then now you want to click aggregate and sum. Doesn't make sense. Okay, we want to change it to average, so go to average, and then it shows up like. So remember, this is a label. You can just double click, change this to diastolic, because that is the column that we have selected. And now it looks like this. So we have max systolic, average, max diastolic, and average. This is diastolic rate. So just change this to blood pressure. So it makes sense. All right. And if you want to do heart rates, go ahead and do that. Okay. Here we have our table. We already talked about how to edit that. For the first example, it applies the same here. Here's our chart. These are systolic readings, diastolic readings, and we're not doing an aggregate here because it doesn't make sense. So it's always going to be the actual reading that we have. So systolic, diastolic, and heart rate. All right, and then here we have the other columns that we are summarizing. Actually, we have columns from this area that we are summarizing. If you want to change it, you can go ahead and change it just like I showed you for the first example. The third is the search. Again, very similar. If you want to see blood pressure readings, you have an appointment with your doctor or a nurse, you want to show them what the readings are over a period of time. You can select by date. You can select the type of measurement. Click here, download as a PDF document. You can take that to your medical appointments. And if you want to remove some of these columns, especially before you print it, you can do that. Just double click like I showed you before. Remove the ones you don't need so that if you want to download it and save it as a PDF, you can do so as well. All right, so that is the end of this walkthrough tutorial. I know it's quite long, but I will have timestamps so you can navigate from one area to another. I do have quite a lot of these series of templates. They're very easy to use. They're very light, and they're really focusing on tracking either time, currency or other numeric values. So anything outside of that may not work for this. So if you're looking for something else that I don't have, let me know. But I do have quite a lot of very specific use cases for this tracker. So go ahead and check out my Etsy shop or my website if you're looking for something different. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I will also have my contact information down in the description box area, so you can go ahead and reach out to me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.